Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and hope you guys are having a good day, and really appreciate you guys making some time of your day to check the video out. Really appreciate that. And guys, about once every probably 3 or 4 months, I sort of pull out of my bag of secrets one little secret trick that I sort of like to let everybody know on the channel. Today's the day, so if you're one of the viewers out there, you're going to hear about a technique that not many people know about, and I think it's going to add up to some good fish for you guys anytime the water temperature is like over 70 degrees. This is a little bit warmer water technique, so we're going to get into that in today's video. Also guys, quick invitation out there, just like to invite anybody that's interested in becoming a channel member here of Intuitive Angling to do so. Channel members get extra videos every week that aren't seen by the public and some access to my personal email address. And if you're interested, just go to my YouTube homepage, the Intuitive Angling homepage, and you'll see a little thing that says join. Just click on that for more information. Much appreciated there. Okay guys, the technique that I'm going to talk about today is the jig and worm technique, jig and big worm technique. I'm going to show you guys how to set this up, and then I'm going to explain to you all the situation that it works in, and we'll get in a little bit more depth in the video. Now the first thing you need, guys, you need a full-size jig. This is my Blaukat throwback jig. You guys have heard me talk about it. They do have them back in stock at Tackle Warehouse right now. I'll put the link in the description to this jig in there. And I'd recommend the 3/8 ounce size for this technique is going to be the thing you need. And you're going to couple this up with a Zoom Old Monster worm here. Now, the color that I like for this technique is the black and blue, and the color of worm that I like is a plum. A black and blue with a plum trailer on this is going to be the setup, and I'll explain why here a little bit later. So first thing you want to do with this is bite off probably about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of the worm. So you got, probably about an 8-inch worm. And then the next thing you do is the way that you rig it on the jig is really critical, because if you look at this old monster here, the way that it sets in the mold, guys, is, let me sort of get a hold of this and I'll show you. This is the way it sets in the mold. So see the curve part right there? You want to make sure that your hook comes out where the curved part is facing upward. So in other words, when you rig it in there, make sure that you get it right in line where the curved part is facing up. Because if you put it where the curved is facing down or sideways, you don't get near the tail action out of it. So make sure that that curved part is up. So once I do that, I'll just thread it on just like you would in a normal trailer, onto the jig all the way up there. And then the final product is like this. This is the final product, the way that it looks right here. So this is the jig and worm setup. This is not, people just do not fish this setup hardly at all. Now back in the day, back when we used to have these things called pork eels, it was the closest thing to it. These pork eels were 8 or 9 inches long, but for the technique that I'm going to talk about here today, you want the curly-tailed old monster or any type of a twister tail larger worm. So this is the setup. Now, the main thing about this, about the technique, is where you fish it at, and the technique about how you fish it. This is a stained water, warm water technique. So normally I'm fishing this anywhere between like June and maybe towards the first part of October. It's going to be really good. What you have to have for this to work is you've got to have off-colored water that is pretty much less than 2 foot. 2 foot would be the clearest water you want. Ideally, you want to have about maybe 1 foot to 1.5 foot visibility. This is going to be perfect scenario for that. Next thing you have to have is you got to have some wood cover that is close to deep water. So the perfect scenario, there's 2 perfect scenarios. One is going to be more prevalent, but the perfect scenario is to have like a lay down tree in the water that is laying on a bank that is got a little bit of an angle to it. So say for example, if you have the root of the tree is up on the bank here, and the limbs of the tree are maybe out over, say, 7 to 12 foot of water. So on like a 45-degree angle bank or slope or steeper, to where the end of that tree is in some deeper water. That's the first situation. The second situation this works in is around standing timber, but the technique on how you fish it is both the same. Now, in warm water, you have fish, when you have wood cover and stained water and warm water, a lot of people don't know it, but you have fish that suspend in that shallow off-colored water. They suspend in water that is like, 3 to 10 foot deep. Or if the water is 10 foot deep, they will suspend, a foot to maybe 3 feet under the water, depending on how dirty the water is, in both standing timber and on the lay down trees. So this is the fish you're targeting. You're targeting these shallow water suspended fish in dirty water. What you want to do is just take your jig, and I put it on 25-pound test Seagar Invisex fluorocarbon line, and you come up to your lay down tree or your standing timber. Say you got some standing timber that's in 5 or 6 foot of water, or a lay down tree. Just make your cast like pass to the edge of it and slowly just start reeling it like that. Just start reeling it where that jig and worm combo is anywhere between a foot to maybe 5 feet underneath the water. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's a swim jig. No, this isn't a swim jig. You're not fishing this like a swim jig because you're not fishing it in sight. Most of the time, a swim jig, you fish it in sight. This is going to be more like slow rolling the spinnerbait. If you want to equate it to some technique, slow rolling the spinnerbait, or maybe even reeling a crankbait next to the cover. So I start out fishing the perimeter, throw it out there. I'll just start reeling slowly. Don't put any action. Don't twitch my rod. Don't stop and go. Just a slow, steady retrieve. Gets that curled tail will do all the action there. And then like on a lay down tree, I'll make 4 or 5 casts around the perimeter, and then I'll pitch it inside, and I'll do the same thing. I'll swim that jig and worm through those limbs of those trees. So the thing is, if there's a big lay down tree, the thing is coming up over the limbs and down like that, and it's just sort of swimming in that dirty water column. And the same with the standing timber. If there's a set of standing timber out there, or even stumps or something like that, just cast out there, same deal, just start slow reeling. Now, the depth that you want to work this jig and worm, as far as how deep you want to get it, is relative to the water clarity. Here's a general rule of thumb. If you have water visibility that is less than 12 inches, most of those fish are going to be suspended in less than 3 foot of water. If your water visibility is closer to 2 foot, those fish could be down there in say 3 to 6 or 7 foot of water. So you sort of have to let that water clarity dictate it. And another thing, guys, do not be scared about throwing this in muddy water. The best day that I have ever had on this jig and worm setup, it was at Truman Lake in, I think it was like first part of August. This has been maybe 15 years ago, something like that. The water visibility was muddy. I was up in the upper Osage River. You probably had that much water visibility. And what I was doing is I was working my way back I shut the boat down. This is how I figured it out. Shut the boat down in this creek channel that was lined with timber. And I was going to work my way back up in the creek because I knew that water cleared up a little bit back in the creek. And, I knew about this technique from some old timers. So I started fishing my way in the mud, like water visibility like that. And guys, like the first 10 casts I made, I caught 2 5-pounders on it, just pitching it up next to the timber. And the jig and worm setup was maybe that far under the water, but I couldn't see it because it was muddy. But they will hit it in the muddiest water that you can fish. If it's really, really muddy, instead of the plum, go to like a black worm or something like that. But the black and blue with the plum trailer is my favorite technique. So anyway, it's a technique that it's a forgotten technique, and it's not only forgotten, but a lot of people have ever known it. So the next time you guys are fishing in the summer and you're fishing lay down trees or standing timber with a spinnerbait or crankbait, try the jig and worm setup. It's quiet, it's silent. That's one of the reasons the fish hit it. It doesn't telegraph itself, and it's a large, big profile lure. This is a big bass technique. I mean, you can catch 25-pound bags on it. So anyway, guys, I'll link everything in my Tackle Warehouse description, the worms and the jig and everything, and just give it a try. I hope it helps you guys catch some. Talk later.